Right, remember a couple of weeks ago we were trying to get off the shock absorber locking nuts. These didn't have the right angle, and I've just welded, and it's horrible, sexy horrible weld. I've just welded a big glob of welds on to these two. So with the aid of some grinders, what I'm going to do is try and shape these with that still warm to fit there on the locking rings. So what I'm going to do is just shape these to fit. So once I've got speed it up. There we go. Just a bit of trial and error getting it to the right size. I could be posh and measure it. I've got a micrometer there, but no fun in that, is there? Now I suppose I should tell you, if you're going to do angle grinding, don't wear t-shirts and wear gloves, but that's like the health and safety way of doing it, and I can't be arsed. Right, a little bit of skimming and we'll get that. So what I've got to try and do now, get that grinder in there. Might have to fire it. Yeah, right, let's just clean the sides up. I'm going to have to finish it off with a file, I think. We're getting there, look. So couple of mil. Ooh, literally half a millimetre at the most. Fuck off. That's right, look at that.
Are you doing what you were doing, eh?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just take that back edge off a little bit. Is this the front edge? Right. What I was doing, if we can hold that, let's see, that way. That key now, look, fits in there. Where's the bloody lens camera? There you go. So that little hook I've made fits in there perfect. So hopefully now we'll be able to get a better turn on it. I've got another one here. So I'm going to do that one as well. And then we'll have to sewer them. But there's no need for us to do that. We'll put this on a time lapse and get the other ones on the same. Ooh, this one's way out. I'll focus in there. It's fucking thinking if I cut that off there, cut that knob off there,
The end.
the end, yeah.
It's going to be better function towards you.
What? Whoa, Matt.
Do you want the bench kind to be any good to you?
Probably, yeah.
Go on, come get it.
Where are we going to fit it?
I said the straight. It starts and runs perfect.
Hmm.
But the off switch is knackered, so I might have to replace the switch. You said so to turn it off, you have to unplug it.
No, that's fine. Right. Any sparks you were going to hit the car. That's why I was standing there swinging it. Hit me. Put it on that side of the bench. Let's move the shit out the way. And we'll screw it to the bench. Oh, fucking hell. Look up there, heavy.
Did you speak about getting them balanced?
Yeah, I forgot to take them, didn't I? We booked in Monday morning, but I forgot. I'll take them tomorrow. I'll ring the fella up and check. Right, get all the engine mounts there. We'll have to pull the extension lead over. Okay, now. Right, one thing I've just noticed. Oh, you bastard. Yeah. That's just whipped around the tit. You can't leave, when you're using stuff like this, the extension lead coils up.
Oh, because the heat.
It makes what's like a Van de Graaff coil. And then fucking thing will burn out. Looks to go on fire.
There you go.
Right, shift Yaris. Don't lean over it. Well, hang on, you don't even know what you're fucking grinding. You just grabbed it, you gobshite. And it's that one. You still don't know what you're grinding. Put us on there. See what shape you need. And that one there. Right. So you need to take that back edge off first. Hold it like that. And then push it up against it. Not too much pressure. You could use that as a man. So you're putting too much pressure on. It's only got a little tiny part of the engine in it, so most of what I mean. And the other one might be a coarser disc. Right, let's have a look. Before you take loads off. Keep checking.
A little bit more, right?
Let's have a look. It's just that edge there that needs to come off. Right, be there forever, and the best way to grind it. Yeah, that's the spot. Might be okay for light stuff, but this is too heavy for it.
Sharpening tools and that.
Knives and shit, yeah. We're setting it off. Yeah, just get rid of it and I'll go back to plan A.
Bench space under the bench for it.
Tidy some in a minute. Let's get this done first. Just stick it out there by the welding gear. No worries. Right, where's me?
This is home.
What the fucking hell? fill that in there. Have you heard about the wooden car with a wooden engine that wouldn't go? It had wooden suspension. I've just made just a couple of little bits of timber to keep the back propped up, because otherwise, while I take the suspension out, because if I didn't do that, the wheels would just flop down and damage the inner wheel arch, I should say. So just a couple of little bits of timber to hold the suspension in place while I take the springs off these. Now, if you remember when I done the front suspension, one of the rings came off fine. The other ones didn't. I've already done two. Whereas you strip through down, obviously there's four on the back. And again, I've had to cut another one off. There's another one there, look. So I've had to cut two of these off. It's not a problem. Straight on eBay and buy some more. But there's the bit of it, right? The inner one is always rotatable. The inner one will always rotate, but the outer one won't, and I don't know why, and it's getting on my nerves. So anyway, we'll figure this out. But before I cut this one off, I've got to make sure that we get the ride out right. So I've got to measure that gap there with the vernier gauge, and then we'll know how big to re-gap them once I put it back in. The front, if I remember right, it was about 11mm, but obviously that one there is a lot longer. That looks about 50. The postman's bin, there's more stuff. I'm using the front of the car as a little store. Got all kinds turned up. We've got brand new fuel filters. We got brand new fuel filter clampy hosey type things. We've got our new IVA, oops, hang on a minute. Our new IVA brake caps. Now I bought these, but they're the wrong size caps to fit on there, look. Way too small. But what I can do is I can drill a hole through that, put that in, put a bit of sealant on it, so we can still use them. And we've got our gaiters for the steering rack. We've got new engine mounts. I've got new gas struts, new ones of these. I've got a whole load of tubing. This box was lent to be by my mate Mike. He's got, same as me, look, tons of stuff. So he's got boxes and boxes of tube work and Jubilee clips. He said just use what you need, and once you're done, gives it back. So that's Mike, who's got the red Nemesis. If you get a chance, go on YouTube and type in Creative V8. That's Creative V8. That'll take you to Mike's page, and there's all other videos of the Nemesis and other kit car shows, and Jubilee clip there. I'll throw in that box. So yeah, that's the front. Oh, can't get down. The chassis, I'll do a separate video on the back of that in a minute, because I've got to clean the back off. I gave it its first coat of paint yesterday, so I'm just going to give it another coat of paint today. The shock absorbers have been desprung and semi-stripped, so the shockies are in now. They're being powder coated. The water pump, well, that's its own thing. That's all nice and free. That's had a little coat of black paint. They're the engine mountings that are not the engine mounts. They're the gearbox mounts. No, they're not. What the fucking hell are they? They're the mounts that hold the radiators on, right? So I've got to clean them up and give them a coat of paint. The battery box has got to be cleaned up, tied up. So we're still at the cleaning stage. But anyway, we're making a bit of progress. So I'll take the back apart, tidy it up, because I store the tools in that in the back when we're not using it. So just a bit of space. Look, so in there is the jet wash and the welding gear and all that kind of gear. So I'll clean all of this out now, and I'll do another video and show you what the first coat of paint looks like. First coat of paint, I'm going to give it about 3. I'm not even sure how it's going to show up. It's got the sun behind me, but it's a lot cleaner than it was this time yesterday. Yeah, so obviously it's got a couple of fingerprints on it, which is not a problem because it's a chassis, it's not a finished job. So I'm going to give it another coat today. Once it's all done, I'm going to give it about 3 or 4 coats of this heavy duty enamel. Once the chassis is done, I'll strip the rear suspension arms and do them because obviously there's going to be brake fluid and stuff there. I've got to be careful how I do that. So I'm going to need a bit of space as well. So we get the chassis. I'll give it another coat today, and if I get time, I'll whip this wheel off, take the caliper off, and take off that upright, and then I can get rid of my little timber shock absorber there. But again, that's just there to stop the wheel flopping down to the ground. So that's where we're up to. I shall break out the paint. I'm not going to film me painting. You've all seen people painting. There's no point doing that. Second coat. What are we thinking? How much cleaner does that look? So, to be honest, there's not much more I can do now at the back. So what I'm going to start doing is stripping down this wheel, see if I can get that upright off, and then obviously I can start working on the upright on the bench, because that needs some major cleaning up. But I'm quite happy with the way this is turning out. Once the radiators turn up, what day is it now? It's Friday now. So the radiators should be on, I'm guessing Monday or Tuesday. The radiators will be here. Then what I'll do is I'll put all the new hoses on, refit the radiators, and then once the radiators are in, I can replumb it all and get all that done. And then once it's all been replumbed, we can look at putting the engine back in. I've got to make 2 new panels. Remember triangle panels that go under the radiators? I've got to make 2 new ones of them, because obviously they were just corroded. They were fucked basically, so they've gone in the bin. And away we go. I'll just show you a few little bits and bobs. I'm not sure if this will zoom in while I'm recording. Oh yeah, I will. Right, see all them fuel hoses there in that corner. So that one's a fuel filter. It comes out through the bulkhead. You've got to feed and return. That corner's back. What I'm going to do is replace all them in the engine bay. But what I've got to make sure is when I put the Jubilee clips on, I put the Jubilee clips on facing into the compartment. Because if I put the Jubilee clips on facing out, that means you can't change them in the future or do any work on it without taking the engine out. So I'll be replacing all of that obviously with IVA approved fuel hose, because that's like probably 25 years old. It's got no markings on it. So I can do that one and start on the plumbing work and rerunning the loom along the chassis rails and cable tying that into place. So I can start tidying it up and go from there. Whoop, that reminds me, I've got to ring Speedy Cables and get a price on my handbrake cable. The rear upright. Stripping this down was actually quite easy. There's one bolt goes through that top wishbone there, connects up here, and then there's 2 bolts holds on the brake caliper. Now obviously you can see by the calipers them pads haven't been changed for ages, but the ones on the front were fresh. Doesn't matter, I've got brand new pads there and we're gonna recondition all the calipers. But what I've managed to do, look, is take the caliper off and leave it connected, so we're not losing any brake fluids all over the floor. So we're going to do the same on the other side. But this bolt here now, there you go, I was just going to say, should be finger tight. I might have to just put the camera down for a minute and just, there you go, take the bolt out. And there's the upright. Let me just, okay, well anyway, there's the upright. It's a big heavy bugger, so I'm going to need 2 hands to pick that up. But as usual, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bolts back with all the washers, so I know exactly where everything is and there's no chance of losing anything. But our little bit of timber there has been good. Now all I need to do is clean up the bottom wishbone, give that a lick of paint, and the same with the top wishbone, and we're away. So we're getting there slowly. This is the rear upright. I've taken, oh yeah, it's come off. I was going to say I've taken the bolts out that holds on the handbrake caliper, which is there. And the nuts fell on the bench. That bracket there is for the handbrake cable. So obviously I'll put the bolts and the nuts back on there. Now all I've got to do, yeah, look, that's spinning. See, that's spinning nice. which tells me the bearings are lovely. Now all I need to do is remember how to get the bloody central pin out so as I can get the hub off, because what I want to do obviously is clean it all back, paint it, but more importantly take that disc off. Now that disc, to be honest, is in perfect condition. It's dirty. Oh, get out. Right. But there's nothing wrong with that disc. I could get away without changing that, to be honest. But I've got them in them boxes there. I've got 2 brand new discs, so I'm going to keep them as spares. But they're in perfect nick. Obviously they're dirty, but they're fine. So yeah, let's figure out now how to get this off. I think I've just got to waggle it, but I'll figure that out, and I need 2 hands. Well, that was unbelievably easy. I just picked it up and the bloody thing fell off. So it was obviously just slid through. And there's full of grease, so yeah, sexy. So obviously I'm going to clean this right up and then re-grease it all before it goes back together. But now I can start work. So what I'll do is I'll tape all of that off, get all the grease out, clean it all up properly, lick of paint, put it back together. That'll take me about a day, to be honest, wire brushing and cleaning, but that makes me happy. The back of the disc on this one is held on with Allen keys, look. Now I've got the first one out. Oop, the first one's out there. It's soaking into a G40, you just got to get the rest of them out, so I'll put this on a little time lapse and then we can strip down the rear hub. So I'll put this on a right, there's one disc off. All that is just a combination of dirt, basically road dirt, and where I've sprayed it with WD-40, but these brakes are actually in really good nick. There's no lip on them, there's no mark on them. So, like I say, the other one I imagine will be the same.
How long are you going to be here, Dad?
Don't know, yeah, why?
Just showing how long we've got on the ride.
Oh yeah, go for the ride, 'cause I've got to clean everything and put everything away. I'm just going to give this a wipe, because I forgot to put gloves on.
Past 2 now, we'll be back by 3:30, 4.
Yeah, 3:30, 4 o'clock. I've only got to, hang on, right, let me pause this. Try that again, that's the rear hub. I've got no gloves on, so we're going to have to have a look at it. But yeah, I remember now from when I built mine. So what we're going to do is clean it up as much as we can. And the best way to clean it up and to degrease it, because that bearing won't come off without specialist kit. We get a nice clean bowl, we thin it with thinners, we just clean it down with a bowl of thinners, get rid of all the little bits of cack and grease and whatever else, and then mask it all up, tape it all up before I start rubbing it down. That way we keep everything out, and then we'll clean it again. See that bit there, look, that's just a little bit of grit, but it was on the roller bearing. Now it's only just what's fell out as I've stripped it down off there. But obviously I've got to be super careful and super clean for when I reassemble it, because it's never been apart. But yeah, those discs, I've got a feeling he's modified those discs to fit, because I remember I'm pretty sure I sent him my discs to be modified. I might have to put them discs back on, but they're unmarked, so I'll ring Vince tonight. You see them holes there, and them on that disc are offset from what's in the brand new one. In fact, let me get another disc out and I'll show you what I mean. There you go. This is the front discs. These are the ruined ones, and obviously this is the rear disc. The front discs are standard. You can tell by the holes like that, and these machined extra holes in this. I remember now, I had to send Vince my disc and he drills it. Now I haven't got the engineering equipment to be able to machine it. Also, look, he skims a flange on there, so replacing the discs is going to be a lot more of a pain in the ass than I originally thought. Not a problem, because the discs, like I said before I stripped them, are in great condition. So what I'll do is I'll spend a couple of minutes on the wire brush, clean them all up, put us all back together, so at least I can get it clean. I'm not worried about that. That's fine. That there is the challenge. See all that? There's no paint on that at all. Look, that's just with my finger, just taking that back. So we get rid of all of that rubbish. But that's why we're doing it. So when we get to the other side, I won't separate the disc from the hub. I'll leave it as it is. Actually, I might separate it because I'm going to have to clean all of that. I'll figure it out when I get round there, but that's where we're up to anyway with the bloody discs. Yeah, like I say, it's when I was since I was at this stage on mine, you must be looking, I don't know, 18 years ago since I had my hubs put together. Maybe longer, could be fucking more, could be 20, I don't know, but that's where we're up to anyway. We've rubbed it down. It's been primed and it has a little coat of black, and the same with the brake disc. That's been reassembled as a coat of black, and obviously before I put the disc back on, I'll clean up all the edges, not the edges, the face plates. So the next job is the brake caliper, which is down there somewhere in amongst all the other crap. That's done. Come down here. The wishbones are looking sexy, look, with my little timber shock absorber down there. So yeah, that's fine. I'll put another coat of them on probably tomorrow. But we're running out of things we can do now until more parts that turn up. The chassis is good. I'll probably give it one more coat, so that'll have been 3 solid coats with the engine enamel. Once I get my new radiators in, let me just spin this round. Once I get my new radiators turn up, then I can finish all the plumbing, put all the plumbing back together. Once I've done all the plumbing and everything's back together, I can put the engine back in. Once the engine's back in, we can start on the interior. So we're moving along, like. But that's how it looks at the end of the day. Crap everywhere, but I'm not worried about the paint. Just look at the state of that. Can't get any worse than that. But it'll all be painted.